Dragi gledaoci, dobrodošli u još jednu epizodu emisije Diplomata. Naš današnji sagovornik je njegova ekscelencija Luka Gori, ambasador Italije u Republici Srbiji. Your Excellency, thank you for taking the time off your day to speak with us and give us this opportunity to explore the relations between Italy and Serbia.
Thank you very much for the invitation for this interview.
Of course, and thank you for the reception here. Now, Your Excellency, it's no secret that Belgrade and Rome share historical ties. Could you tell us how has the partnership of our countries evolved over time, especially in today's geopolitical climate?
Yeah, we are living in a very difficult time, in a very difficult geopolitical context, in a world where there is no effective multilateralism. So we are living in a multipolar world without effective multilateralism. So we have lost a little bit the sense of the international order. And this is impacting very much on all the countries, especially in Europe. And not only in Europe, to be honest, because with the conflicts around us in the Middle East, in Ukraine, we have really to take into account this new world, which is a little bit worrying for all of us. There is also a big impact on the economics, on the trade relationship, so a lot of obstacles that we have to overcome. In this difficult scenario, the relationship between Italy and Serbia remains very stable. It remains a very friendly relationship. We have been making a huge political investment, so there is a very substantive political dialogue. There is a very dynamic economic, trade, investment relationship. We are also making progresses in the scientific cooperation between the two countries. And finally, with regard to culture, of course, we are always ready to share projects and to push for the cultural diplomacy between our two countries. So all in all, despite the difficult scenario around us, our bilateral relationship remains really central and stable.
It's certainly encouraging to hear, Your Excellency. As you mentioned, today is a world that's a world of shifting alliances. But how does Italy view Serbia's role on the global diplomatic scene?
Well, we know very well which is the Serbian approach to foreign policy, meaning they want to have a multipolar approach. So Serbia is ready to work with different international interlocutors, not only Europe and the European countries, not only the European Union, but Washington, Beijing, Moscow, the Emirates, Turkey, and so on. This is not something new. I mean, this is something very much related to the culture of foreign policy of Belgrade since the Yugoslav time. So we understand very well this principle. At the same time, I always encourage my Serbian friends to focus on Europe, because in the end, history, geography, culture are not an option. And when I look to Serbia from an historical perspective, from a cultural perspective, or with regard to the economic relationship, trade interest, I see a European country. So, I really encourage Serbia to give priority to the relationship with Europe.
Thank you for the response, Your Excellency. This is something that you and the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Marko Đurić, emphasized together in your recent meeting, where you mentioned that it's very important for Serbia to advance its procession process to the EU. Could you tell us how does Italy, per se, advocate for Serbia in Brussels in regarding to our EU membership?
Yeah, we are at the forefront in Brussels to try to push the Serbia candidature with regard to the European Union. Last year, we made a big effort to try to open Cluster 3. Italy, together with France, did bilateral démarches with all the EU member states in order to try to open cluster 3, but in the end we failed, I have to recognize. And we tried our best, and we will continue to do it, because we believe in the importance to have an integration process of Serbia up and running and able really to make the difference for the country. So our idea is to continue on the one side to work with the EU member states in order to convince them of the importance to push Serbia's integration process forward. And on the other side, of course, we have to work with Belgrade to push Belgrade to approve the reforms they need to do in order to convince everybody to open new clusters and new chapters.
Absolutely. We did mention now what is the role of Italy, but how do you see the role of Serbia on delivering on those promises in the future?
Yes, of course, there is a lot of work to do, we have to be honest. There are, I would say, three main key points in the coming weeks. The first point is related to the preparation of elections that will come probably by the end of the year. Serbia already approved several laws that are meant to implement the ODIHR recommendations with regard to the electoral process, and we appreciate that very much. There are still some laws that have to be approved and implemented. So first and foremost, we encourage Serbia to continue in this direction. Second point regards the Venice Commission recommendations with regard to the amendments to the judicial laws that were approved recently. Here we encourage Serbia really to fully implement the Venice Commission recommendation. This is, I think, critical in order to convince all the EU member states of the importance to proceed with the integration process. Finally, of course, there is the broader reform agenda. And here we see Ambassador Apostolovic, who is now in charge of this new coordination body. He really brought new energy in the action of Serbia with regard to the reform agenda. He has been presenting a very ambitious plan of reforms for the coming months. So we really encourage Serbia to work in that direction in order to implement as soon as possible the reform that they wanted to approve.
Of course. Now, moving on to economy, in the beginning of our interview, you mentioned that Italy is one of Serbia's strongest economic partners. What are the key factors that are driving this success? And is there any untapped potential, maybe, between our countries for even a bigger economic cooperation in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a very solid economic and trade relationship. The trade interchange between the two countries reached 5 billion euros last year, which is, I think, an important number. But there is a need to renew our economic cooperation. Because as you probably know, most of the Italian companies came to Serbia in the years 2000, and they were very much focused on the traditional sectors of production. Now we are encouraging our companies to focus much more on new sectors with a more important technological component. So we are focusing, for instance, on agri-tech and agricultural more in general, on the energy transition, energy diversification. Serbia is starting a very important project of energy diversification, and I think there are many opportunities also for the Italian companies. And then, of course, artificial intelligence, digitalization, and I mean, all these sectors where I think we can really do business together.
Yes, absolutely. And this goes in hand with the latest activities of the Italian embassy here, which just recently launched the festival Play with IT. Could you tell us how does this event connect Serbia and Italy ahead of Expo 2027, of course?
Yeah, this is a very nice initiative because every year the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs select 3 cities in the world as capital of the Italian creativity. And for 2026, they selected Belgrade. And we are very proud of that because we proposed Belgrade as a very interesting project, which is called Play With It, which is the Festival of Italian Creativity in Serbia. The idea is to anticipate a little bit the issue of Expo. We want to do a sort of Expo before Expo. We are playing with it, playing with Italy, also with technology, but yes, also play with music, play with food, play with sport. We had a wonderful event last weekend here at the embassy and at the circuit of Navak with the Ducati, who is probably one of the most important company in Italy. So, I mean, this is the concept, to play with Serbia, to play with our Serbian friends in all the different sectors that we can imagine.
Yes, it's certainly good to hear, and both countries have a lot to offer on all of these areas that you mentioned. There is one important topic in all of this, in the moving economy for the future, and it's the green transition, and it's most certainly a European priority. Could you tell us how can Italy and Serbia cooperate on renewable energy and sustainability? And could you please tell us more regarding the innovation forum that you will be organizing in June?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, the energy transition is critical in our economic cooperation. In the last 3 years, we organized 5 business forums, and in each of these business forums, energy, the green economy was really a key element.
It's unavoidable by now.
Yes, a key element of the agenda. We had the last business forum with Serbia last week, together with the Serbian Chamber of Commerce, and it was focused on infrastructures and energy. So we discussed also all these items. With regard to the Innovation Forum, it is part of the Play With It initiative. In this case, we play with technology. And we will bring to Belgrade many Italian companies, startups, incubators, representatives of institutions who are dealing with the technological innovations. And we will focus mostly on robotics and smart cities. But we have also organized 2 hackathons. So in 2 hackathons, that would be realized together with the many Serbian students. So the idea is really to have, I would say, quite an inclusive approach to organize this innovation forum in order to underline the importance of this perspective in the bilateral relationship.
Taking into consideration all that we talked about right now, do you see opportunities for joint research between our countries in AI, biotech, or even advanced manufacturing between Italian and Serbian institutions?
Yes, I mean, last week we signed an important MOU between the Serbian IT office with Mihajlo Jovanovic and the Center for Data and Artificial Intelligence and Quantum Computing in Bologna with Professor Zoccoli. He came to Belgrade and they signed an MOU in order to work together in all these sectors, in particular between the data center in Kragujevac and the supercomputer and the data center that we have in Bologna. So there will be a very strong cooperation in this sector. And in the last years, we organized 2 scientific forums, We launched several programs of cooperation in this sector. So we are, I think, in a good place when it comes to artificial intelligence, data management, and supercomputing.
Absolutely, and there have been even more efforts in this regard. Over 1,000 Serbian students actually attended the Study in Italy event, so we can still see how education and science is being emphasized between our two countries. What role do these events and education overall play in strengthening our bilateral ties?
Well, they play a critical role, to be honest. And I was really not surprised, but very happy to see that more than 1,000 of students came to the Italian Cultural Institute in a very rainy Saturday morning to try to have more information on the Italian universities. And we are seeing that many students from Serbia are going to Italy to study. First of all, because of course they like the quality of the Italian universities, but also because they enjoy the quality of life that you can have in Italy, in particular in many small cities, not only Milan or Rome, but if you go also in other cities where you have important universities, you can really not only study in the right way, but also live a very decent life and very enjoyable, especially for students. And finally, for us, it is an important instrument also to promote the Italian language. And I mean, the Italian language is really a priority in our activity. We had just yesterday evening here at the residence an important event, un aperitivo italiano, where we invited all the people who speak Italian in Serbia just to spend some time together, dedicating the evening to a very important Italian writer. But it was a way just to develop the knowledge of the language.
For your last question, Your Excellency, could you tell us, looking ahead, how do you see the future of relations between Italy and Serbia? A year ago, when we talked here, you seemed optimistic. Has the optimism stayed? What is your forecast?
Well, I'm paid to be optimistic as a diplomat. But beyond that, despite all the difficulties that we see around us, difficulties at global level, with the conflicts in Hormuz or in Ukraine, difficulties with regard to the trade relationship around the world, with the tariffs, difficulties in Europe because we have to face a very, I would say, aggressive competition with other global powerful interlocutors. But all in all, I see our bilateral relationship with a bright future, simply because it is founded on a very solid friendship. It is, I would say, based on common interest. It is based on the importance of friendship between our two people. So this is something that will remain and somehow will guarantee the fact that also in the future, despite all the difficulty around us, Serbia and Italy will remain friends and will continue to develop their fruitful bilateral cooperation.
Thank you for that message, Your Excellency. And once again, thank you for taking the time off your day to speak with us.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
A našim dragim gledaocima, hvala vam na pažnji. Gledali ste razgovor sa njegovom ekscelencijom Lukom Gorijem, ambasadorom Italije u Republici Srbiji. Ostanite uz nas jer dalje idu diplomatski događaji.
Konferencija CSR Srbija 2026. koja okuplja predstavnike biznisa, javnog i civilnog sektora sa ciljem promocije društveno odgovornog poslovanja i održivog razvoja, održana je u Privrednoj komori Srbije u organizaciji kompanije Color Media Communications.
Svih ovih godina, naravno, bili smo svedoci da su prvo međunarodne kompanije koje su došle na naše tržište bile te koje su, zbog toga što su imali u svom korporativnom DNK, to da moraju društveno da se ponašaju, da su one ustanovile neke standarde i evo sad ova 12. konferencija, moram da kažem da je ohrabrujuće da veliki broj domaćih kompanija je počeo da ih sledi i da to rade zaista često vrlo kreativno, često vrlo autentično.
Kompanije koje ulažu u zaposlene, u bezbednost na radu, inkluziju, zaštitu životne sredine i odgovorno upravljanje, zapravo ulažu u svoju budućnost. Srbija posveća tom putu. Kroz reformski proces i pristupanje Evropskoj uniji u okviru klastera 4, zelena agenda i održiva povezanost, unapređujemo standarde u oblasti socijalne politike, radnih prava, zaštite životne sredine i održivog razvoja. Istovremeno, radimo na stvaranju podsticajnog okruženja za zelene investicije, cirkularnu ekonomiju i ogromno poslovanje malih i srednjih preduzeća.
Kada govorimo o tome šta je uloga onih koji promovišu nove vrednosti, to je da budemo ispred, da zaista one kompanije koje su prihvatile ove nove politike, sprovode ih na terenu, da za njima idu i mala i srednja preduzeća, kao što je Danilo pomenuo, to je ogroman segment našeg društva koji ne treba zaboraviti. Međutim, iako se o društvenom odgovornom poslovanju dosta govori, njegova suština nije samo usklađenosti sa propisima ili međunarodnim standardima, već u kvalitetu radnog okruženja i poverenju koje se gradi unutar organizacija.
Edward Ferguson, ambasador Velike Britanije u Srbiji, naglasio je značaj dobrih zakonskih okvira koji štite ljude od eksploatacije u globalnim lancima snabdevanja, koji obavezuju kompanije na veću transparentnost i odgovornost u poslovanju. Karol Vinjo iz UNICEF-a istakla je značaj partnerstva u modernom poslovanju.
Deo problema sa terminom CSR jeste slovo C, odnosno pojam korporativno, jer stvara utisak da je to nešto pomalo dosadno i namijenjeno samo velikim kompanijama, da uključuje konsultante, tabele i proračune. Međutim, kada se radi kako treba, CSR može biti mnogo više od toga. Postoje određeni razumni zakonski zahtevi, naročito za velike kompanije. Na primjer, u Ujedinjenom kraljevstvu kompanije moraju da poštuju čitav niz zakona protiv diskriminacije i zaštite ličnih podataka, kao i da izveštavaju o tome da li su njihovi lanci snabdevanja oslobođeni modernog ropstva i nepoštenih radnih praksi, da obezbede da njihovi proizvodi odgovaraju opisima i da budu odgovarajuće kvaliteta.
Danas su partnerstva važnija nego ikada, jer odluke koje donosimo utiču na budućnost koju će naša deca naslediti. Nijedna vlada, organizacija ili kompanija ne može samostalno da odgovori na izazove savremenog društva.
Tokom konferencije organizovana su dva panela. Panel partnerstva kao pokretači društvenih i sistemskih promjena realizovan je u saradnji sa Kancelarijom UNICEF-a u Srbiji. Diskusija je otvorila pitanje kako partnerstva mogu da prerastu u dugoročne modele saradnje koji ne zavise od kratkoročnih kampanja, već od strateškog pristupa razvoju zajednice i jačanju društvene otpornosti. Drugi panel pod nazivom Društvena odgovornost i doprinos lokalnoj zajednici osvetlio je koliko su društveno odgovorne kompanije važnije u izgradnji poverenja sa lokalnim stanovništvom i institucijama, kao i o tome kako to ponekad izgleda kao trka sa vremenom. Svečanim prijemom u Beogradu obeležen je Dan nezavisnosti Azerbejdžana. Proteklih decenija ta zemlja je izgradila demokratsko društvo zasnovano na poštovanju ljudskih prava i vladavini zakona, uporedo razvijajući jednu od najbrže rastućih ekonomija na svetu, rekao je ambasador Kamil Hasijev. U svom govoru on je podsjetio i na duboko prijateljstvo Srbije i Azerbejdžana i važne međusobne posete ostvarene između predsjednika Vučića i Alijeva.
Naša ekonomska saradnja uspješno se razvija i imam još veći potencijal. Kulturne veze se jačaju. Saradnje u oblastima obrazovanja, nauke, sporta, omladinske politike u oblasti porodice i ravnopravnosti žene, защиты животной средины и многим другим областям се прошири и добија на замаху.
Dan nezavisnosti Azerbejdžana nacionalni je praznik koji se obeležava od 1918. godine, kada je osnovana Demokratska republika Azerbejdžan, tada prva sekularna i demokratska republika u muslimanskom svetu. Ubrzo nakon usvajanja je ukinuta, a ponovo je obnovljena raspadom Sovjetskog saveza 1991. godine. Ambasada Hrvatske u Srbiji svečano je obeležila u Beogradu Dan državnosti i Dan oružanih snaga Republike Hrvatske. Prijemu su prisustvovali predstavnici diplomatskog kora, političkog i javnog života.
Ne mogu izostaviti da je naš dio Evrope još izložen nedovršenom miru. Stabilnost, suradnje na evropskim načelima, nerješena bilateralna pitanja, sjena zastarjelih političkih paradigmi, društvene polarizacije, sve to još obilježava naše jugoistočno susjedstvo. Želimo pomoći da se ti izazovi prevladaju, ne ulazeći u unutarnja pitanja naših susjeda, jer će narode tih zemalja o svojoj političkoj i geopolitičkoj budućnosti i poziciji odlučivati sami.
Uprkos globalnim previranjima, Hrvatska veruje u budućnost regiona, dobrosusedske odnose i zajedničko oslanjanje na evropske vrednosti, demokratiju i vladavinu prava, zaključeno je na događaju. Dan svetih Ćirila i Metodija, bugarske azbuke, prosvete i kulture, kao i slovenske pismenosti, svečano je obeležen u Ambasadi Bugarske u Beogradu. Na događaju je prikazan dokumentarni film Tragovi na filmskoj traci novinara Bojka Vasileva, posvećen restauraciji kultnog ostvarenja Kraljevac Bresaka. Dobrodošlicu gostima poželeo je ambasador Angel Angelov.
Dragi gosti, poštovani gosti, dobrodošli i srećan vam 24. maj. Velika nam je čast i zadovoljstvo što smo večera zajedno sa vama, a naš program otvorit će deca iz nedeljne škole Ljube Karavelov u Beogradu izvođenjem 2 pesme, uključujući i himnu posvećenu 24. maju.
Dan svetih Ćirila i Metodija, bugarske azbuke, prosvete i kulture, jedan je od najvažnijih državnih praznika u Bugarskoj. Tog dana se u duhu praznika širom zemlje održavaju školske priredbe, kulturni i akademski događaji i druge svečanosti.